Welcome, everybody, to another live recording of the Business Travel 360 Linking the Travel Industry podcast, where we discuss travel industry news you're talking about on LinkedIn. My name is Rian, and I'm one of your hosts today. I'm a co-founder at Agentivity, where we ensure TMCs operate as efficiently as possible through the effective use of data. So if that sounds of interest, please get in touch. As usual, I'm joined by Ash and Anne to help me discuss our list of stories with you. Over to you, Anne.
Welcome, everyone. I'm Anne. I'm an independent consultant, happy to help you with anything related to distribution, in particular NDC, one order management. Over to you, Ash.
Thanks, Anne. Good morning, everyone. My name is Asha. I'm the host of a weekly business travel podcast called What's Up in Business Travel, where we give you only the important updates in under 15 minutes. Additionally, I'm the Vice President of Client Success at Traxo, and this is Linking the Travel Industry.
Are we detecting a bit of seasonal flu there, Ash? Because my nose is blocked as well.
It was just a good weekend.
Okay, I see. That's a good one. Okay, cool. For those new to our event today, welcome. The format of this discussion is a quick, non-biased, and more importantly, spontaneous review of the previous week's top LinkedIn travel industry-related stories. So last week was week 49, and we're going to start off with a very interesting announcement that was made by Travelport and United Airlines about a relationship between them with the aim of enabling new capabilities, etc. But before I talk more about it, why don't I just bring somebody on stage that has kindly agreed to join us, and that is Damian Hickey from Travelport. Damian is the Group Vice President and Global Head of Travel Partners at Travelport. Damian, once again, thank you so much for joining us and telling us more about this very interesting development. You want to do a quick intro, and how are you?
Very well. Thank you, Rian and Ash and Anne. Thanks for having me join this afternoon. My name's Damian Hickey. I am the head of travel partners within Travelport. Myself and my team, we manage the relationships with our travel partner suppliers, those that bring content into the Travelport Plus platform across air, car, hotel, rail, cruise, any of the suppliers that ensure we have best-in-class content. This announcement last week in relation to the partnership between United and Travelport, it's really exciting. And what's really exciting is that this is a new type of partnership. It really is a strategic relationship that represents really a new model of collaboration between an airline and a multi-source content provider. It's a real evolution away from that traditional airline distributor relationship. Under this model, we're working very closely together with United to enable new capabilities, new functionality, specifically for the agency community and the corporate buying community. United have been clear that they will prioritize development with those partners who can move the fastest, those that can bring innovations to the market quicker and successfully. And this really is a reflection of both organizations, to be honest, commitment to modernizing airline retailing and accelerating that, and the role that we know that agencies and TMCs play in that modern retailing space. So you may ask, well, what is the plan? What are we doing? Well, through this deal, Travelport will get early access to United's NDC technology roadmap. And this is really about co-development. This is moving away from that traditional model where an airline will launch some innovation in the market. They'll make it available to the likes of a Travelport, and we'll do some integration, some testing, and then launch it to the market. This is really a new model where we will actually build together with United. We will test together. We will launch together. And that really means that with having dedicated resources on both sides, we will bring innovations to market much, much quicker, whether that's in the Travelport Plus platform or also in our Deem online booking tool as well. You'll see implementations and phases. We'll start seeing the first capabilities coming to market in early 2026, but you'll see throughout 26 these new functionalities, new capabilities coming to market. Also, United are committed to making sure that they can support the agencies through the transition as they're bringing on board these new innovations. So they are going to have specialized support teams that are dedicated to making sure that the agencies can actually learn as they adopt these new capabilities. Really exciting, and a model we think actually could be a blueprint for the future for both airlines and their partners going to market. Exciting times, Rian.
Sounds really good. I love the part about you getting early access to some stuff, which I guess they can then experiment with and properly test out with you. Anne or Ash, did you have any questions for Damian?
I'm a great admirer of United, and congratulations to both companies on doing this. This is, to me, a step in the right direction. Something that I know that United have been very passionate about, and I'm very passionate about it, is to try to break down the barrier and that wall between, let's call them distribution systems. So what's typically happened in the past is that United wants actually agents to be able, and travelers for that matter, to move seamlessly between, regardless of where they have booked. You know that this has been one of the biggest roadblocks, because they've said that, oh, the minute, the agency touches this, it becomes a GDS booking. Is this the sort of step you're moving into, sort of breaking down that wall?
You're absolutely right, Anne. Really, because of the model, as I said, where it was very much United bringing new innovations to market and then making them available to a Travelport to then integrate it and take it forward, there was always that time lag. And naturally, when they would launch something innovative, they would make it available in their direct channels first, and then it would be up to their technology partners to do the work. What this means is that we can actually launch at the same time, so that when those new innovations come to market, they're available in all of the channels at the same time. And then you're absolutely right that United are very, very focused to make sure that the traveler has choice. Whichever channel they decide to book their travel from, they can choose whichever one that is. This makes sure that the same functionality, the same capability, the same innovation is available in every channel, ideally at the same time. So getting rid of that sequential model that we've had in the past. So really looking forward to seeing that accelerated timeline come forward.
So am I. That is progress.
So, Damian, one of the things that I noticed in the press release was a reference to the online booking tool extras. So that is interesting to me from a traveler perspective. One of the things that I think TMCs have lost over time is the ability to have travelers look at the online booking tools as a way to actually book travel. A lot of times they log into booking tools and they leave the booking tool because it just doesn't keep up with the likes of United.coms and other airlines. My question to you is, while you are doing some of the things like adding United loyalty program numbers, and that's nice, I would say, but I don't know if that's groundbreaking. I think that some of the things that you're doing reminds me a lot of what Spotnan and American did together. At the end of the day, United is always going to want to feature United.com as the way to book travel. So what are you doing at Travelport with Deem specifically that bridges that gap or makes it easier for travelers to access more content, or at least similar content to what they receive when they go to United.com?
Ash, great point. It's a combination really of both what I mentioned earlier, that is making sure that all of the functionality and capability is available, whether in all of the channels at the same time, so that when the traveler they're no longer dealing with the situation where they have to come out of their online booking tool because something else may be available in the direct channel. All of that capability will be there at the same time. But there are new capabilities. I said there are, I guess, what United have called, OBT extras that they're actually looking to put into the online booking tool, whether this is, using unused travel credits, whether this is putting in, as I say, instant enrollment for the United program, new forms of payment, such as the United's Jetstream form of payment that they have for their corporate customers. So these OBT extras, that they call them, will be available not just in United's own direct channels, but now also available at the same time in Travelport Plus and in Deem, our OBT.
Why not let a traveler book on United.com and still feature the booking in Deem? And why not give the traveler the ability to feature that reservation in Deem for the viewing pleasure of both their company as well as for the agency that supports them?
I think you're absolutely right. That's really our goal, is to get to that seamless transition. There are a few technical hurdles to overcome to get there, to be honest. By having some of that kind of joint planning with United, I think we'll start to break down some of those barriers that are kind of preventing that seamless experience.
And Damian, this is music to my ears because, I'm a big fan of the idea of the agent being able to focus on the servicing side rather than the booking side, because quite frankly, the booking side should be up to the user's choice and make the agent shine where they are very good at, which is servicing side. So hopefully this is, as you say, a role model for the future. I do love it. And we here will follow this with great interest. So Damian, thank you so much for taking the time out of your schedule to join us today. We appreciate it. And hopefully we'll have you back sometime.
My pleasure.
Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Imagine booking a flight, reserving a hotel, and filing your expense report, all during your favorite coffee break at your desk. That's what Italite makes possible, a modern, all-in-one platform for business travel and expenses. Why choose Italite? Because we combine smart technology with effortless workflows, helping companies save money while making travel simpler and faster for employees. Italite, the smarter way to travel for work. Discover more at italite.com.
Anytime. Thanks a lot.
Alarming development, I have to say. I read this with a great cause of alarm. This is a ransomware attack that happens on a solution which involves Crisis 24, and they ended up having to shut down that solution. It's called OnSolve Code Red, and it's a system which I believe there was an opt-in emergency sort of notification system, but it was also used by US law enforcement, could contribute to information in the app. I believe they are working on a new version of this. It's a complicated story if you read it, but we do wish the folk at Crisis 24 the best of this. There is still the issue that many users, apparently millions of users' personal data, is also at risk. Ash, what did you make of this story?
Well, I thought that the Code Red naming convention was very proper for the situation. This is a regular thing now in the industry where some companies losing control of their data. Of course, there's a lot of weaknesses in how Bruce explains this story. It's obviously very glaring. The industry continues to be rattled. Every airline in the world is having issues like this as well. So travel industry has been very loosey-goosey with security over the past couple of decades.
Loosey-goosey. Yeah, it's going to bite you, absolutely, like it has. This is the news about Expensify integrating with Uber for Business, just automating trip receipts. And I know you have a comment, which is a question. I wish I could guess your question, but is the question, why only now?
Yes, well, definitely it is a why only now. Of course, we want these integrations. This is great. I guess it allows you to differentiate if you sort of personal Uber and you signal and say that this is now Uber for Business.
Well, the way I use it, I've got a personal profile and a business profile, and I've got different payment methods. And before I book the trip, choosing the drop down in the app, I wasn't aware that there's a dedicated Uber for Business, because that works for me. I've just been on a trip where I could choose, and I could just choose whether it's personal or work, and it then applies the correct card. Ash, what is your take on this?
I think this is great. And this is exactly the kind of service levels that travelers want and expect. You're right about the personal and business. We see that happening quite a bit from Traxo's viewpoint, by the way, because we see airlines and hotel companies starting to differentiate the pathway to which the traveler chooses upfront that I want this to be business, I want this to be personal. And that also routes the email to the right email addresses and to the right product suppliers and partners of that specific program. So what Uber and Expensify are doing is great and perfect.
Very good. I just want to do something quickly for a minute. We're not done. We've got quite a few more stories, but I just want to turn to the audience and say thank you so much for giving us your time on a Monday. We've got a packed room today. One of the things we do love is to hear from you, so please comment on the stories. But whilst we have this slide up, just comment and tell us where you are listening from, and we'll bring that on screen, because the other purpose here of linking the travel industry is to get more of us connected. So if your name gets on screen, maybe you'll get a few more extra connection requests, which will be fantastic. So please do. So there's a comment there from Ben Park about all corporate cloud providers should offer a go back in time feature like Curve does in the UK. Okay, let's move on. There was an announcement out of the Middle East that the Cooperation Council for Arab States of the Gulf, or the GCC, they've announced the creation of a unified GCC civil aviation authority based in the UAE. I guess up until now, obviously each member state, they have had their own civil aviation authorities, so this makes a lot of sense. I'm amazed. Why only now? Question, right, Anne?
Absolutely. I mean, we need to see more of this. And this is just such a great step in the right direction.
I mean, there were rumors apparently, but now it's been confirmed. There's been a major restructure at Qantas with a large number of executive positions being made redundant by the CEO, Vanessa Hudson. The rumor is, at the time of us reading the story, it wasn't confirmed, that there were up to 400 of those jobs going. Ash, I'd love to hear your take on this.
I saw one comment on the story, and the comment was lousy timing. And that's exactly what I'm going to echo today. I think companies need to get their act together. The weeks before Christmas, you are affecting so many people's lives and really making the holidays a miserable experience when it should be the exact opposite. The idea that you have to wait until Christmas to do this is just ridiculous. You knew well in advance that you were going to do this. You could have definitely paused this until after January. So companies that do this kind of stuff need to be really called out. And I'm going to do that now because I saw this story happening with a couple of other airlines where they were doing this exactly in the wrong time. And timing has consequences. When you do ill will to people at a time when they least suspect it, I think that you should be called out for that. So this is horrible for Qantas. This is a bad move. And I'm really unhappy that they're thinking that this is okay to do from a company standpoint. Nobody's thinking about these employees.
Fantastic point, Ash, and it's something we should be mindful of indeed. And what are your thoughts?
Yeah, they're not really all that good in this area, are they? Qantas, fully agree with you, Ash. I hate it when you publish this kind of stuff in December. I think it really is, like you say, terrible. It's interesting with 400 people, that's a lot. It sort of makes you question, how many people actually work in this area, right? I mean, wow, that is huge.
That's right.
Okay, so for instance, Scandinavian Airlines is a smaller airline. It's about half the size, I believe, of Qantas, right? They laid off, didn't they, 200 people from head office. So here we're looking at 400. Some of these roles explained, I mean, you sort of ask yourself, wasn't that a given one that they should have headed up these departments from the very beginning? I mean, why did you have different? Because they naturally belong together.
Like head of paper ticketing.
Just a couple of weeks ago, Rhiannon, and American did the same thing. They cut hundreds of corporate jobs, and they're citing the reason is that, we're now using AI, so we don't need these jobs. I mean, that's fine, and that's great for February and January, but not December.
Yeah, it's one more month they could have held on, right? Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Okay, we got a lot of comments there. Let me just give a few shout outs. So thank you very much. Christoph in Poland, Tace in Netherlands, Ahmed, thank you from Frankfurt. Michael, you're back in Australia, Michael Carter. Well, and thank you for staying up for this. Must be late. Ian Luck, great to see you as well, sir. Thank you for joining us and thank you for your comments. So again, we love the comments. Thank you for those. Now, here's a story which I really like, a story that was caught me a bit by surprise, the announcements between Kite and Wizz Air. So Wizz Air is announcing a partnership with Kite to open their content to third-party distribution and strengthen their presence in the corporate travel market. Those were the words from the actual statement. I absolutely love that they're doing this. I see my comments got a few to and froms there with a few others in the industry, which was interesting, saying, why didn't you just go back to GDS? But we have to be realistic here. Wizz Air is never going to be there, and this is phenomenal. The only comment I had is there a GDS out there that's going to also see this as an opportunity. Let's see what happens, right, Anne?
Yeah, perfect opportunity for Travelport, right?
Oh,
goes without saying. Yeah.
Yes.
I'm super happy about this as well. As you know, I love Kite. I love what they do. Interesting, of course, is that there is no mention of this being an NDC API, which I can more or less swear by 99.9% that it's not. It's not an NDC API, but it's an API.
I tell you what's interesting. Being Kite, it's likely to be an NDC API, but it doesn't matter to us. That's the beauty of it.
And I keep saying that it really doesn't matter with the technology improvements that we're seeing and the speed of technology. It's totally irrelevant.
Huge congratulations to Alice and the team at Kites and also to Wizz Air. It was so bizarre. I flew Wizz Air last week and over the weekends, and they also liked my story on this as well. I have to say, I was so impressed with the Wizz Air product. Brand new A321neo. Very quiet airplane, super efficient flights, really great service. Yeah, I was very happy with that. Travelport, I hope you guys are listening. We are waiting with anticipation. There's crisis in India. Indigo, my word, thousands of stories in my feed about Indigo cancelling lots of flights and the reasons behind those, etc. The story here is about Indigo cancelling thousands of flights after there was a change in the government-required minimum hours that pilots could fly and overnight stays and all that stuff, which it seems Indigo did not pay much attention to, and so they got into a bit of trouble with that. It's a complicated story, but thousands and thousands of people are affected, and so it's absolute chaos. Ash, I want to come to you for comment on this first.
One of the things to keep in mind is that the authority that issued the changes had issued these changes well in advance. So it wasn't like they did it last week and Indigo had to kind of figure it out. And instead of Indigo trying to fly into the Netherlands or to fly into Heathrow and working that thing, they should have been working this issue more importantly. At the end of the day, what this is about pilots having enough rest, the crew having enough time in between flights, and the authority found that the existing policies, which of course, as aviation industry moves forward in India and it gets more and more busy, these things become more important, whereas before they were not as important. So with Indigo flying as many flights as they fly, the crew is stretched for time. There's a lot of exhaustion from the crew. So this policy was designed, which I don't think the policy goes far enough, Rhiannon, and it's still very, very soft. And for Indigo to have a meltdown from a very simple changes that they made, which they knew well in advance, shows that they just don't have their hands on the pulse of their operations. They need to get their act together for sure, as we know. And I think that the agency that had issued these new changes, which again are very minor changes, civil authority that did this, they need to take this even further than where it is today to ensure safety for the flying public.
Yeah, and I see they did issue a deadline to Indigo to respond, but Peter Elvis there is under a lot of pressure, of course.
And he shouldn't have been worrying about Netherlands and Heathrow.
That's right. A few questions, right?
Well, I mean, it's just such a disaster. And they'd obviously been hoping that there would be an extension. And like Ash is saying, they had plenty of time to look at this and prepare. And I'm really shocked by it. I fully agree with Ash. It's just absolutely shocking because safety comes first.
We've got another listener telling us where they're listening from, Katerina Kovic from Belgrade in Serbia. Thank you so much. Okie dokie, guys. Well, that was a wrap. Very full show, full room as well. Thank you so much for everybody attending. Thank you so much for Travelport and indeed Damian for giving us his time. For you two as well for giving us your contributions. And for all the people who commented, thank you so much. Over to you, Anne.
Thanks, everyone. And of course, a special thanks to Damian. It was absolutely brilliant to hear it from the horse's mouth. And thank you, everyone, for your comments and sharing where you are. Over to you, Ash.
All right. Thank you all for joining today's live recording of Linking the Travel Industry. We record this podcast live every week on Monday. We ask that you share this event with others that you know. Chances are high that if you enjoyed today's session, those that you know will as well. If you ever miss a show because of time zone or availability, the podcast is available on businesstravel360.com. This is Linking the Travel Industry, signing off.